Hey, Dr. Tabby Cat here. Thanks for coming by. Today is going to be a trigger warning, and it could be a trigger warning for many who suffer from any type of PTSD, any kind of traumas. I do have a channeled message that I got a month ago, and I'm just now putting it out because I waited to see if it would come up again. And I've actually been getting it each morning now, a few times a week. So I'm going to put that out. But first I'll go into the education part, so that way you get a heads up on what the message will be discussing. And then we'll go into the channel message, and then we'll go into the cards. So today's cards will go back to the dark cards, the Necronomicon, the Mausolea, the Dark Mirror, the Angelariums, and yes. So we'll be using those because that will go along with what we're doing. Oh, and then also the childhood trauma oracle. All right, so we will get started on the education part first. And I have on red, black, and yellow for my deities for protection because it is negative. The entity that has given me the channeled message is on the negative side. It is a negative entity, but he has been wanting to get his message out, so I said that I would do that. So that's what we're doing. All right, so like I said, it is a trigger warning, and if you feel that you cannot listen, then don't be afraid to just turn off the message and turn off the channel if you need to, and you can come back later or fast forward, watch it later. All right, here we go. So military forces use sound frequency manipulation, a specialized form of psychological warfare, to demoralize, disorient, and coerce behavior. While brainwashing is often a colloquial term for these tactics, the military formally focuses on behavioral manipulation and sensory domination. Acoustic denial and direct disruption. Modern militaries use directed energy acoustic weapons to create immediate physical and psychological compliance. Long-range acoustic device, LRAD, a sonic cannon that emits concentrated beams of high-intensity sound. It can project painful, ear-splitting tones over 145 decibels to cause splitting headaches, panic, and immediate dispersal of crowds or combatants. The Scream, a vehicle-mounted device used by the Israeli Defense Forces, IDF, that sends out sound bursts to cause dizziness and nausea. Active denial systems, ADS, while primarily microwave-based, it works alongside sonic tools to penetrate the skin and create a sensation of extreme heat, forcing subjects to flee. Number 2. Infrasonic and ultrasonic manipulation. Frequencies outside the human hearing range are researched for their ability to affect subconscious and body without the target's awareness. Infrasound, less than 20 hertz. Research suggests that these low frequencies can cause drowsiness, fatigue, increased blood pressure. intense infrasound is hypothesized to cause disorientation and bad vibes or feelings of dread, though it is difficult to weaponize effectively over long distances. Ultrasound, less than 20,000 hertz, high-frequency sound, has been studied for its potential to cause discomfort and physiological stress, though its use is often limited by its inability to pass through walls easily. Psychological conditioning and torture. Sound is frequently used in interrogation and prisoner management to break individuals psychologically. Okay, music torture. Loud music such as heavy metal or even children's songs, for example, from Sesame Street, is played for up to 72 hours continuously to prevent sleep, cause sensory overload, and foster a state of dependency on the interrogator. Sound disorientation. Blaring, conflicting tempos, or screeching noises like sirens or dentist drills to disrupt concentration and logical thinking. Number 4, advanced neurotechnology and voice to skull. Experimental and patented technologies aim direct brain interaction. Radiofrequency hearing effect, a scientifically validated phenomenon where microwaves create clicking and buzzing sounds directly in the brain. Okay, skull-directed voice transmission. The U.S. Air Force patented technology that can beam voices directly into a subject's head without external speakers, used for covert communication or psychological manipulation. Neurotechnology, DARPA, DARPA, the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, is developing non-surgical brain-machine interfaces to potentially control emotions or thoughts in future warfare. Historical examples of sonic warfare. Operation Wandering Soul, Vietnam War. U.S. forces played ghostly recordings of wailing infants and funeral dirges to exploit Viet Cong beliefs and undermine their will to fight. Siege of Stalingrad, World War II, Soviet troops played tango music overnight to prevent German soldiers from sleeping. Capture of Manuel Noriega, 1989. U.S. troops blasted heavy metal and rock music at the Vatican Embassy for days to force Noriega's surrender. Sound frequencies have been used for manipulation in a more extreme context, psychological control, by exploiting the way the human brain and body responds to vibrations, rhythms, and tones. Techniques range from subtle psychological conditioning through binaural beats to the use of high-intensity infrasound to induce fear, discomfort, or disorientation. Okay, here's an explanation of how different sound frequencies are used for these purposes. Like we discussed a second ago, infrasound, low frequency, less than 20 hertz, refers to the sound waves below the threshold of the human hearing. While people cannot consciously hear them, the body feels them, which can trigger fear, anxiety, and physical discomfort, such as inducing fear and panic. Frequencies around 17 hertz to 19 hertz have been shown to resonate with the human eye, causing slight vibrations that can distort vision and create feelings of dread, unease, and the perception of ghostly presence. Physical disturbance. High-intensity infrasound can cause dizziness, nausea, rapid heartbeat, and difficult breathing. Manipulation usage. Infrasound is used to create an atmosphere of paranoia or helplessness. Historically, this has been studied for its potential in unconventional, non-lethal, or psychological warfare. 2. Binaural beats, brainwave entrainment. Binaural beats occur when two slightly different frequencies are played into each ear, causing the brain to perceive a third tone, the difference between the two. The technique aims to influence brainwave activity to match specific mental states. Delta waves 0.5 to 4 Hz, used to induce deep sleep or in negative application states of confusion or extreme lethargy. Theta waves 4 to 8 Hz, linked to deep meditation and assessing subconscious patterns, which can be manipulated for suggestibility. Alpha waves 8 to 14 Hz, used to induce a passive, highly suggestible or over-relaxed state. Beta waves 14 to 30 Hz, used to induce high alertness, focus, or anxiety. 3. High-intensity sound for psychological control. LRAD, long-range acoustic device. These devices emit painful sound beams that are used for crowd control. They're designed to cause severe pain and incapacitation, coercing behavior through discomfort. Vibroacoustic stimulation. Using specific loud, low-frequency tones, 30 to 120 Hz, to create physical vibration, causing muscle relaxation, but also used to disrupt concentration or create overwhelming sensory input. 4. Psychological conditioning via auditory patterns. Repetitive rhythms, consistent booming or hypnotic low-pitched sounds can be used to lower inhibitions, encourage conformity, and make individuals more receptive to messages often seen in cult-like settings or coercive marketing. Subliminal messages, sounds that are just below the conscious awareness threshold masking, can be used to insert suggestions without the listener's knowledge. Summary of the effects. Emotional manipulation. Specific frequencies can induce feelings of revulsion, fear, or profound sorrow. Cognitive disruption. Infrasound can cause difficult thinking clearly, allowing for greater susceptibility to misinformation. Physiological stress. Long-term exposure to certain frequencies can raise cortisol levels and increase stress. While the concept of brainwashing someone by whispering in their ear while they sleep is a popular trope, the brain can process some sounds during sleep. It is not an open vessel for complex indoctrination. The following methods are the actual ways auditory stimulation and sleep are used for manipulation and behavior influence. Hypnopedia, sleep learning. This is the practice of attempting to teach or influence a person while they sleep or playing recordings or speaking to them. Scientific consensus, traditional sleep learning, such as memorizing a new language or complex facts, are largely considered ineffective. Studies using EEG have shown that if a person actually learns a new fact, they likely were briefly awake or in a micro-arousal state when it happened. Subconscious priming. While you cannot learn a new skill, the brain can be primed. For example, playing sounds or smells associated with a memory can strengthen that memory consolidation, but it cannot easily implant a brand new belief against a person's will. 2. Exploiting suggestibility in transition states. The brain is most vulnerable to suggestion during the hypnagogic, falling asleep, and hypnagogic, waking up states. Theta wave state. During these transitions, the brain often produces theta waves, which are associated with deep relaxation and high suggestibility. Coercive usage. Manipulators may speak to a person during these specific windows because the critical faculty of the conscious mind, the part that questions or rejects illogical information, is less active. sleep deprivation as a manipulative tool. In military or cult-like brainwashing scenarios, whispering or playing loud sounds at night is often used not to teach but to break the subject. Interrupted REM. By speaking or making noise just as someone falls into a deep sleep, a manipulator can cause chronic sleep deprivation. Cognitive collapse. Lack of sleep leads to confusion, loss of emotional regulation, and increased openness to suggestion during waking hours. This makes the victim more likely to accept the manipulator's narrative simply to find relief. Psychological bedtime brainwashing media trope. Dream incubation. Sounds heard during sleep can sometimes be incorporated into dreams. If a manipulator whispers frightening things, it can cause nightmares, leading to daytime anxiety and a sense of losing one's mind, which creates a power imbalance and the manipulator can exploit. Okay, summary of the effectiveness. Okay. Technique, complex learning. Low, teaching new language facts. Suggestibility, medium, strengthening existing feeling ideas. Sleep disruption, high, breaking down mental defenses. Dream influence, medium, causing nightmares and or paranoia. Okay, now on to the next section of this, which is desensitization, numbing. Okay. Watching torture or extreme violent videos after experiencing childhood trauma, and I don't mean like right after, I mean like someone who has suffered childhood trauma or PTSD from being in the military or any of that throughout life. This is what we're talking about. So, watching torture or extreme violent videos after experiencing childhood trauma or military or the such is a complex psychological behavior often rooted in attempts to cope with or process past events. While it may seem paradoxical, individuals with a history of trauma may use this content for emotional regulation, desensitization, or to reclaim a sense of control over feelings of helplessness. Here are the primary reasons identified by psychologists and trauma researchers. Number one, reenactment and processing trauma. Attempting mastery. The brain may try to master an unmastered trauma by re-experiencing similar themes in a controlled environment. If the original trauma was overwhelming, watching similar scenarios allows the person to view it from a safe distance, potentially changing their role from victim to observer. All right, desensitization, numbing. If the person feels overwhelmed by lingering fear or anxiety from childhood, watching extreme violence can serve to dull emotions, providing a numbing effect to the real-life pain. Catharsis. Some find a form of catharsis in watching violence, feeling that it provides a release for their own pent-up anger or distress. Number two, seeking control and familiarity, reducing fear of the unknown. For individuals who grow up in an unpredictable, violent environments, controlled fear, knowing the horror is on the screen, can be more manageable than the unpredictable anxiety of daily life. Validation of experiences. Extreme content may validate their own often minimized experiences, confirming that things could be worse or acknowledging the dark, painful reality that we're forced to endure. Familiarity and comfort. For some, violent content feels familiar. If childhood was chaotic, peaceful and violent environments might feel unsettling or boring, leading to a need for high-intensity, even gruesome stimulation. 3. Neurochemical, psychological factors. Adrenaline, dopamine rush. Watching or even anticipating violent scenes can trigger an adrenaline and dopamine release, similar to riding a roller coaster. This can be intoxicating for a nervous system used to high stress, high danger situations. Coping with flashbacks. By watching horrific content, individuals may be trying to replace spontaneous, unwanted flashbacks of their own trauma with controlled external image. Morbid curiosity. It can be a way to confront or demystify the ultimate mystery of death or extreme cruelty. Okay, important considerations. Secondary trauma. Repeatedly watching, sharing, or downloading graphic violence can cause secondary trauma resulting in PTSD-like symptoms, even if the person was not physically present. Safety and legality. It is important to note that viewing or sharing content that depicts the torture of children is illegal and classified as criminal content. Okay. All right, so with that, and I didn't put in there, but that also goes with like sexual scenes, not just like war scenes or like violent movies. It also goes with like the BDSM and things like that, because that's also put in that category with people that continually watch that or try to play out that. And they need to be the person to control all of that to make up for them being the victim. So they change from being the victim to the victor. So, yes. So if you made it through all of that, and you guys know I do, I actually do sound healing, so I know all about the different hertz and what it does for you. And sound healing is very good for you and it's very healing. But a lot of people, not just the military or people in war, but they use it for bad things as well, such as brainwashing and cults and stuff, to manipulate people. So, all right. So now to the channeled message. Okay, so like I said, I got this channeled, well, it was a channeled dream, because I get a lot of dream messages. I'm a dream clairvoyant, and it's like a movie being shown to me. So I got it about a month ago, and I didn't think anything of it. I didn't have it again, so I left it alone. And then, let's see, probably a couple weeks ago, it started popping up as I was driving to work. And it was speaking to me and giving me more information and reiterating the story. So it really wanted me to put it out here. So that's what I'm doing tonight. So basically, it is a masculine, a male, born with a penis. And I do say it's an entity because he definitely has dark entity attachments. He knows that he does. And To me, he's like a warlock, just in his mannerisms. And we did talk about traumas because he definitely has traumas. He is, let's see, when he introduced himself to me, he showed me first the outside being light and sunny outside on a sunny day is what everybody sees. So everybody sees, I guess, like the happy family with the white picket fence, and then he shows me the opening into his home, which is a nice neighborhood. It's a nice home, nice big house. Excuse me. And when you enter his home, very nice things all throughout the home. It's very dark in the home. He likes to keep it dark. So very different from the outside. He doesn't like any light to come in. And very tall ceilings. Dark wood. I'd say like a dark cherry oak wood. And old furniture, old like antique furniture. Very nice like paintings, very expensive, very nice taste. He has very distinguished taste. And definitely he is, I was asking him, oh, excuse me. I was asking him about himself, to describe himself, of who he is, his character, his personality. And he gave me stoic. He gave me military. He said a line of military, so that would mean his family comes from military, so they probably moved around a lot too. And then very well dressed, a leader, a business owner, nice dresser, nice home, established, finer things in life. I saw him as being tall, stocky, muscular, wearing a black suit, very nice, clean black suit, finely polished, face, everything, hairline. Now, when we walked into the home, I could hear kids or a child. Did not see the child, but could hear a child in the background. He didn't mention the child's name or how many. And then I could see a woman. So I had mentioned wife. He suddenly and immediately corrected me and stated side piece turned into wife. So me being a therapist, I presumed she got pregnant, and then they ended up getting married after or during the pregnancy. I tried to clarify that. He showed me a picture of a graph of two banks, like a bank statement with the money in there. One, of course, was small, one was larger. So I'm assuming hers was the smaller one, his was the larger one. And it read like that song. It was saying, little bank take big banks. and then it said cheaper to keep her. So I'm assuming with the pregnancy, it was cheaper to keep her than to pay her off for the pregnancy. So he ended that quickly. And then the family, his family is close to him, mother, father. The family liked her. The family liked the wife, or side piece turned wife. He has no comment to that. Okay, the child was loud playing in the home. He states he likes silence, he likes peace and quiet, he likes freedom. He kept repeating that. And then he showed me on a table, there was a piece of paper, and it was next to a laptop, and on the paper were the letters, it was PTSD. And then, oh, that was weird. Okay, so then it was PTSD. So he did say he was military, so I assume he does have PTSD of some form from the military. But, which I'm sure he does, but that actually is not what he was referring to. He took me to a large, like, entertainment center, which had a large, like, music area. He's into music, and he has a lot of classical music and frequencies. And throughout the day, he will play them. He has it on timer. He will play music at a certain level. And it will play throughout the house very loudly. And a certain frequency will play for everyone to hear. And usually it will annoy everyone, including the child. So the child is not immune to any of this. The child's involved in all of it as well. He does not have any emotions. He's not very empathic or empathetic toward people's emotions or sensitivities. Yeah, he doesn't like to see people crying. He shows no emotion toward any of that. And he really does not care. Okay, and then he also showed me on his computer, his laptop, he does watch a lot of the videos we were discussing in the educational portion of, like, the torture videos. Him specifically, it was a lot of, like, the war videos where they capture their target of the enemy and torture them in various ways, specifically with noises, music, things like that. All right, and then he takes me throughout the day to the nighttime. So nighttime comes and the child is in bed, the woman is in bed, he is not sleeping. He is wide awake and he is performing rituals with this woman while she is sleeping. He's not only speaking things into her, he is playing things while she is sleeping, on and off through the night, waking her up. She's begging to go back to sleep. He's forcing her back up again with the noise, the music, the frequencies, the speaking. He's got a recording. And not only that, he actually speaks it himself loudly to her. I did question why, if he would tell me why he's doing this to her. And he took me back to, he likes his silence, he likes his peace. He's not happy, he wants his freedom. He figures this way, he could, I guess, have her commit suicide, or trigger warning, or hurt herself in some way or another by doing all these things, or go crazy and get locked up in the crazy house. And basically, day by day, this is a ritual that is done on a daily basis and repeated every single day. And I say he's a warlock because not only does he do this, but he's very, just the fact that he can telepathically speak with me. And he's very smart in how he does it, because he can come to me not only in my dream, but while I'm driving. And he speaks to me just like a live person, not like a passed over person. But he knows spiritually different ways to do things. He's very knowledgeable with sound healing. He's very knowledgeable with frequencies. He's knowledgeable with divination. He's knowledgeable with herbal medications, shamanism. Very smart. Very intelligent. Science. He has books, lots of books on science, astrology, the stars. He's very manipulative, even in our discussions. He likes to control how the discussions are going. If I ask a certain question and he doesn't want to answer it, he will change it into something else and have me redirect me to look or focus on something else. He also has an altar in his home. It's locked away in a dresser. And you would never know, because like I said, his house is beautiful. It's very, very, very nice. Very nice things in there. So if you go in and you go toward the bedroom, it's one of the old large type dressers, like a vanity where you can hang stuff up, and then it's got drawers, and then you open it. So you open it, and then the one side has like an altar, and in the front he's got like some clothes to hide it, and then you just move the clothes and it's right there. He does do rituals with animals, sacrifices. I asked him if he wanted a child. He did not answer. I take that as a no. I asked him why did he choose me to bring this information to. He said because we understand. All right, anything else? My ears are ringing loud. He gave me maestro as the word. Which he could be a maestro. Or he could just be using that as a trigger warning for myself. Okay. I'm going to close out that. So we're going to end it there. Yeah, he just ended it with maestro. So, yeah, so basically that is, he brings up other stuff, but yeah, that was the main stuff. Just basically that he basically torments and kind of brainwashes this woman, his wife, side piece wife, turned wife, with these frequencies, this classical music that's timed each day. And it's actually timed whether he's there in the home or not, and she's there. I don't think she works. I think she stays home because he has it on timer, and he tells me it just comes on and it's on like the loudest note, the loudest number. And it literally blares through the entire home. And you know how usually if something comes on like that, like you jump, they're immune to it now. At this point, they don't jump. Like they're used to it. And you know that when it comes on, they just continue. So subconsciously, they're already being controlled with this music off and on, and timed with it. And then at night, the lack of sleep, the lack of getting a full REM sleep, and then just the way he speaks with her, very stoic, not nice at all, not empathic at all, not sincere. There's no sincerity for crying. If someone gets hurt, the child or her, there's no emotion. There's no crying, period. Like, we don't cry in this house. There's no crying. That's not what we do. And yeah, that's really it. So I apologize if any of that was triggering for anyone. If I get any more message from him, I will do another one. So like I said, he's been coming through quite often, so we shall see. All right, and I apologize, the videos have been taking like 2 days to upload with the retrograde, so hopefully these will start to upload a little bit quicker. All right, have a good night. Bye. Oh, I'm sorry, we have to do the reading. Sorry. Yes, let's do the reading. I was ready to go. Shoot. That took forever just for that. All right, we're gonna do the trauma reading. I don't know if I want to do the toxic shame one or the trauma one. I think I'll do the toxic shame one for him. So, okay, that one is a 9-card spread. Toxic shame. All right. And I already shuffled. So we'll do the healing from toxic shame. And he definitely has lots of things to heal from. Okay, so 9-card spread. We're gonna do the root of shame, current impact on self-perception, how others perceive, trusted support, necessary boundaries, path to self-compassion, healing action, and outcome of healing. All right. Okay, here we go. We got the root of shame. You know what? I'm gonna switch. I just got thing to switch. All right, I'm gonna do this one for the main cards. All right. All right, the root of shame is calling the storm. Current impact on self-perception. Bride in a cage. How others perceive you. sacrifice, trusted support, anger and chains, necessary boundaries, masquerade, path to self-compassion, blinded to pain, healing action, is this me? Hidden strength, the temple of my body, an outcome of healing, triumph of lies. All right, and then at the bottom we have envious gluttony, and at the top, alone in the world. All right. So we have calling the storm 30. All right, calling the storm is for the root of shame, represents the origin or core source of toxic shame, uncovers the foundational belief or experience that triggered these feelings. So calling the storm. Power comes not from the inside, but from the connection and integration to a greater whole. A shaman woman wears an antler hat, dresses in crimson and brown, and holds the crow head and staff to the storm. Autumn leaves spiral out and around, whirlwind shake the world. Pull and release, push to the limit. The eye is the only peaceful place that can be. So it says, there is a time to find and release our power. Like a spring that has been bad and been compressed to the point it has lost the memory of motion and movement. Finding it is called empowerment. It starts from the belief in our power. It's our ability to cope, to fight, to endure, to overcome a challenge. However, too often we're encouraged to see empowerment or something that happens only within, in our psychological space. We are not necessarily islands. We can borrow the power of the world around, the context, the environment, and the expectations. We do not control the storm, we just call it. To call the storm, we need to not fear it. This is what will make us strong. After the storm, there is always the sun. So if the sky is gray for too long, it's not time to fear the storm, but to embrace it. It will grow up and devour our chains and our jailers. It will hurt us as well. But it will be healthier than just staring at the chilly rain. We can restart only after we let ourselves end. Okay, so that's about fear. So fear is the root of the storm. So he basically has not healed his fears. All right, the next one, the impact on self-perception, which is Bride in a Cage, 21. Okay, Bride in a Cage. Did we die waiting for the perfect day, or were we never alive? Okay. When we put the good of our life just in our expectations, we can dismiss the present, waiting for the dawn we will know will arrive. The future becomes a shopping cart. It needs a bit of this, a bit of that, a few kilograms of that, and also a couple boxes of another of this. When we look at it, it shines like a brand new day in a commercial. As it happens with force, This day is too hot or too cold. The kiss is dry. The lion limps softly and doesn't roar. As long as something is not here but is pushed further along the timeline, we have the luxury to take it off of reality and treat it as a fantasy. We push forward and we push forward until we actually catch up with our dream, and then we crush. The future should not feel like a cage, not even a gilded, wonderful, handmade designer cage. The future is a tree, gnarled, rough to touch, full of flowers only in spring, dense and damp through the rain, absolutely imperfect. All right, so that deals with the bride, the wedding. Like I said, he did not want to get married. He sees that his dream and his timeline was crushed because he's not living his dream. He's living some fantasy. And it's not even a good fantasy. It's a commercial that he's living because he married his side piece turned into a wife. So he's not happy. Okay, and then we have... Okay, the next one is how others perceive you, which is sacrifice. It's number 7. Okay, so how others perceive him is a strong power and sacrifice. Our fears and hopes, they're all in chains to a small world. Our sense of self is a small, petty creature of uncertain resolve and shaky horizons. With sacrifice, we renounce our sense of self. We accept to be lost. We accept to be shaken and cut and bruised and hurt and burdened, locked and stricken and despised and gossiped and betrayed and misunderstood, and be left alone to rot and die with just words and thanks while the world goes on our broken dreams. But when we drown our sense of self to sacrifice, we are also a greater person. We are screaming, I exist, I make a difference. We accepted the price to pay, and we used our blood and tears as currency. That gave us the right to stand tall. So it says, even if I have to break apart, as long as it serves a purpose. So he feels like he always has to wear his armor. He always has to protect himself. And it also says, I have accepted my duty, and in my release, I found freedom. So he's still looking for his freedom. He can't release himself from this armor. He's still in the war. He still has to protect himself. All right. The next one, trusted support. Anger and chains, 29. 29. Trusted support. Okay, anger and chains. Force channeled outside, unreasonable, undirected, but powerful. Okay. Anger is not the road to clarity. It is not controlled effort or a cold dish. It is raw, primal, explosive. It is the loss of reason, the loss of restraint, a bomb burning bright in a black color, a wax seal carefully crafted to be immediately broken. But anger is also freedom. How can you break a single thread woven with a million others? How can you unfetter yourself from a bad situation, letting all the rest unchanged? It doesn't work like that. When you need to break free, you need to shake and shout, and more things will be broken than just what you want to hurt. They are like a bundle. You can target, but you cannot choose. Break many to break one. Save one to save many. So anger and chains. He knows that you can't just target one and take your anger out on one. It affects everybody. So the child, his parents, her, himself, it's not just affecting one, it's affecting everybody. And everything's about anger. And it says, I've got to break free. I want to be free. So everything's about freedom with him. He cannot get free at all. And it's not just about being free from the marriage. It's actually him mentally needs to be free. Okay. Necessary boundaries. Masquerade. 15. Masquerade. Necessary boundaries. So for necessary boundaries, it's masquerade. What I can't have forever, I will have for a minute. What I can't have for a minute, I will hold to me for 1 second. A man's face, a young in the flesh, an impostor. With a wide open shirt, over him appears the most complicated and baroque hat straight from a Venetian carnival. Under the guise of Cupid, I will come to you. Under the guise of a thief, I will fly away. There's often guilt in taking the mask of Don Juan or Donna Juana. The seducer is not the master of love, neither of manipulation. He is the master of ephemeral, of what is fleeting and brief and transient to the extreme. He is the master of the moment, and as such, he forgot all other kind of eternity. There's the guilt if you care, because you're not building. There's the guilt out of loss because you're not treasuring. There's the guilt out of indifference because you don't care. You cheat yourself out of meaning and value. Sometimes there's the guilt of selfishness and the desire itself, and everything leading to pleasure, as if only pleasure that can be sacred are only those labeled as such. The masquerade is a dance. It is a road that goes in circles and ebbs and flows and always ends with the first light. Before the time comes, hold it tightly. When the time comes, let it go. So guilt and anger and freedom and pleasure. Okay, now we are on healing action, blinded to pain, 13. All right, blinded to pain, which has bees attached to her chest. All right, blinded to pain. I can shoulder it. It's not a big deal, isn't it? Okay, it's flies. Flies penned, not penned, but ordered as bees. Feeding of the neatly arranged blood. A woman's chest carved by a blade in a diamond pattern. Full lips, the color of blood, a blindfold on whom the last fly lingers. Carving oneself for every stroke of whip, a feeling so broken that it makes no difference to be whole. T.S. Eliot said, "A fly that lives a single day has lived as long as we, yet we accept the passage of time like it didn't matter. Like we don't matter. Every day, single line is added to the pattern, a single fly added to the wall. We take one more responsibility. We take little more abuse. We shoulder a little more pain. We smile in front of a little more insolence. We close our eyes to our wounds. We think we can endure it. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt, we say to ourselves. Like men, because it's manly to endure and be strong. Like women, because it's feminine to endure and be strong. Like humans, because the care and gentleness we feel is precious to others, and we don't dare to actually claim for ourselves. After all, we can do it, but it actually hurts. It's painful. Tears are better than feeding flies with our own blood. We can scream and say no, or endure nevertheless, but remembering that we are just humans, neither heroes nor saints. I can shoulder it. It's no big deal. So yes, he was definitely taught not to show pain, not to show empathy, not to show feelings, to be very stoic. All right. Now we are on the healing action, which is this me? Number 4. Healing action number 4. Is this me? All right. Is this me? I cannot recognize myself, but I am still me. A dark fantasy warrior with pale skin, enshrouded with a scanty spiked armor, shrouded fanged, hilted sword against a background of fire and ruin. I cannot recognize myself, as I can't remember the road that led me here. How can I see the road ahead? This card is not about an affirmation, but rather a question. Is this me? Can I recognize myself? Maybe yes, maybe no, maybe for sure. I lost the road I had once. The last time I stopped to really think about it. In my heart, I feel maybe like the high school that went to the prom, but truly I am now 45. I weigh thrice. I feel true self as the kid that wanted to play soccer with the Real Madrid. All this while punching numbers on the Excel file out in insurance office. It is not necessarily something negative as a dream lost or corrupted. I could see myself as love is the most important thing in my life, but actually I have a very well-paid job that makes me travel. I sleep alone in hotel rooms. When did we last look at ourselves in the mirror? Do we like who we are? Make no excuses, because the choices we made, what we are our responsibility. If an old dream is dead, it's time to dream anew. If the old dream is alive, it's time to go back to it. I cannot recognize myself, but I am still me. Yeah, so he doesn't know who he is. And I don't think he ever really had a who he is from childhood on. So he doesn't know who to go back to or how far back to go. All right, now we're on hidden strength, which is the temple of my body. Number 2. All right. I feel I am not worth enough. A succubus-like creature with claws resembling nails holds a very thin silver chain, and the pendant on it appears like a crimson tear of blood. My body is the temple of my soul. It has no secrets to me. This card is about the darkness in the body. Culture can make us take distance from what our corporality. So many religions and customs, for instance, demonize sex in many different ways, lacing it with guilt. As an assassin could lace food with poison. On the other side, we are collaborators in cheapening our bodies, hiding it, being shamed by it, selling it, giving it away for nothing. It happens when we accept an abusive relationship, when we refuse to respect the body of another, or more simply, when we do things like being too lazy to eat healthily. Our body is a temple, it cannot be defiled. We can take a shower, raise our chin, feel proud. It is our body, ours. I think he respects his body, it's just others he does not. All right, and then the outcome of healing is the triumph of lies, to get rid of the closet of lies that he's been with, and that is 1. All right, if something hurts me, I change myself so it can stop. Headless mannequins crowd against each other under a cold neon light. They are dressed in luxury clothes, pricey accessories. Among them, one has a crowned skull floating where her face was supposed to be. Not all that glitters is gold. Emptiness is felt where there is nothing under the dress. The triumph of lies is about appearance, and appearance is always so important in the world. Day by day, it seems more important. Can that be a lie too? We seek to be what the world outside desires and not necessarily society at large. Our family or partners or friends place judgments on what we should be. In the dress we should choose, we carve a mask of expectations, behaviors, and values to live by. It offers stability to ourselves and to our relations. As being honest and true to ourselves can be too tiring, too easy to make us hurt. Unfortunately, the relationship with our mask is not as straightforward as it feels. Inside the mask, envy grows, vanity takes root, lack of self-confidence becomes an habit. It gnaws at us and hurts us from the inside. It feels like it's ourselves, but it's not really authentic. It's just a lie we have made a habit to believe in. When our lives become a gilded cage and our dress become a burden, we should remember that we are born naked. Yeah, so you need to be authentic and not worry about what other people are telling you to do or be or dress or say or who to be with or not to be with. That's solely up to you. It's your life. You have to be happy with all of those things. So you definitely can't live a lie, no matter if it's your lie or somebody else's lie. And the only way you can find your true self is to go back and find your inner child, heal your inner child. Remember what your inner child loves and likes and enjoys doing, and to start from there. So yeah, he has a lot of hurt. He has a lot of anger. He has no freedom. He has no good memories. He feels restricted. He feels like he cannot cry because he was taught not to. So, and he projects that onto others. I'm gonna see if anything comes out with the childhood trauma oracle. Can we get anything from here for his situation? We'll see if anything comes out. I'm not sure if it will or not, but we'll see. Get anything for his scenario here. Okay, we got always moving, unstable, and death of a loved one. And then feeling like a black sheep of the family. Okay, any more? I have divorce. And we got psychological abuse, which is what he's doing to his family. And we got hostile environment. Oh, shoot. Growing up too fast. Taking care of siblings on a regular basis. And verbal abuse by a teacher. Let's see. Having to pick a side during a dispute. Being ignored or dismissed when expressing emotions. Bullied. And toxic parents. Let's see if anything else. Any last messages from here? Oh, shoot. And witnessing multiple affairs. And it says love is used as a means of control or manipulation. Abandoned. CPS. Single parent. They were abused by several family members. Learning that emotional unavailability is the norm in relationship. Okay. So yeah, quite a bit. All right. We'll just get some from the angelariums. Okay, give me some messages from the angelariums for this message. And we have Asbiel, the angel of ruin. Amaros, angel of undoing. And Samshiel, the angel of the eclipse. Okay. So, Asbiel. What was that? All right, Samshiel, angel of the eclipse. We have volatility, harvest, and omens. The meaning, something powerful is set to disappear soon. The light will still be there, but you won't have access to it for a time. Keeping the faith when the world is cold can be hard, but is a worthy cause. Trapped in the moment of an eclipse can feel like a place apart from the rest of reality, but it's an illusion. Okay, and Asbiel, angel of ruin. Hope, severance, and shipwrecks. Revealing this card is a sign that it's time to let something go. Failure to allow things to come to a clean end will force them to remain in a state of disrepair. When you are finally forced to acknowledge the end, you will have wished that you acknowledged your loss sooner. A door to the healing process is open if you have the courage to walk through it. All right, now Asmaris. Okay, Asmaris, summoning confusion and craftsman. Now's the time for building, a time for applying chisel to stone and beginning the uncomfortable process of letting inspiration find you. The challenge of the work might be obvious, but the alternative is always less desirable. Seek this work out. An uncarved boulder is waiting for you. You'll recognize it as soon as you see it. Chances are you already know the challenge that awaits. Don't delay. Okay. He definitely has work to do, that's for sure. Okay, we'll get some from the Mausolea Oracle of Souls. Okay, give me 3 from here. Got 1, 2, and 3. Okay, we got Set, which is short-sightedness, ambition, and narcissism. Matriarch, mother of the homestead, which is rejection, opportunities, and consequences. And then we got Hades, Lord of Riches, equanimity, wisdom, and inevitability. And then at the bottom, Mother of Dawn, and then Hathor. Okay. So let's see, Set, Matriarch, and Hades. Oh, hell. Okay, Matriarch. A noble queen, the matriarch lived a righteous life, free from sins that would weigh her heart when she came before the scales of Anubis, save one, the memory of which was lost to her. In her hubris, she and her king denied the gods of Duat the worship and fealty that was her right, incurring the wrath even unto death. Given this, she was cast into the desert where she established the homestead, a refuge from other wanderers, exiles, the lost ones. The matriarch reminds us that while there are some mistakes from which there is no redemption, maintaining a core of self-nobility and dedication to right behavior will nonetheless provide opportunities, even if it is not the original plan. There is no sense of falling prey to personal disappointment. Your true value will be seen and understood by others. So rejection, opportunities, and consequences. And then we got Hades and Set. Okay, Hades. Unlike the decadent, fickle gods of Olympus, Hades cares more for the people under his rule than he does for his own pleasure. He endures their sneers and abuses with equanimity, focused on his goals and his responsibilities, knowing that eventually all will come to an end in his realm. Hades reminds us to ignore petty, unworthy distractions and to focus on that which will make a real difference in the world. All right, and then Set. Okay, Set, Prince of Everence, exiled and isolated, set plots with outsiders and demons for the overthrow of Duat, and to undermine the other gods that dwell there. Concerned for nothing and no one but his own ambitions, he cannot see that his present state of solitary punishment has been brought about by himself and his jealousy. He desires rulership of the realm, even if he must destroy it and all that represents to obtain it. He has not considered what he will do once he is the ruler of an empty, featureless, demon-ridden waste. Set warns us of the dangers of unbridled ambition and self-absorption, short-sightedness, ambition, and narcissism. Yep. Okay. All right. So, let's see, is that it? I think. Yeah. All right, we'll do one final conclusion. All right, let's get a final. What's the final outcome for him? Oh, shoot. My goodness. All right, let's see. His final outcome is the Seven of Pentacles, planting his seeds, working the Eight of Books, which is the Eight of Swords. That is putting yourself in a mental prison. Guilt, truth, change. Six of Books, which is the Six of Swords, moving to calmer waters, and authority. All right. So, for his outcome, he needs to plant the seeds for healing, start his healing journey, and master it. Get out of this Eight of Swords, Eight of Books, this mental imprisonment he's put himself in, thinking he can't get out. Look himself in the mirror without feeling guilt. Learn that the truth, whether good or bad, you have to be authentic to yourself. Change. It has to come. You can't wait. It has to come for change to come, good or bad. Six of Books, which is the Six of Swords. To move to calmer waters, you have to get through the rough ones first to get to the calmer ones, and then authority. Kill the ego. The ego is good for some situations, but in this one, he's too far into it. He needs to get out of that authoritative, egotistical, stoic mindset, military mindset, because it's not helping for what he needs to do. All right, so that is it. Hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you next time. Bye.